Isn't clicking. Oh, okay. Okay, let's come to stand. Okay. All right. Just taking a moment just to feel your feet under you, feel your verticality and your balance. I need a cameraman. Right, even just letting your weight shift a little side to side. Get the sense of just a little weight over your right leg so you feel how your ribs, your pelvis, your thigh, your knee, your lower leg and foot line up, how they relate. And then over to the other leg. Just noticing what you notice in your sacrum, lower back. Good. And just a couple breaths with one hand on heart, one hand on belly. Good. As you breathe, notice what starts to shift as your breath moves, right? With your hands on your body, the breath will start to change. Can the breath move down, even without effort? Can you feel your feet settle even more? Inner foot, outer foot. Inner heel, outer heel. Right? What can get tight? What can get like wide and soft? Or clear? And let's take the inhale now, slightly bigger. Inhale, arms out and up. And exhale, arms out and down. Good, let's turn the palms out towards the side of the room as the arms come up. And keep that rotation as the arms come down, that external rotation. Good, maybe even internally rotate at the bottom, externally rotate, inhale the arms up. Keeping those arms externally rotated and arms down. Good, again, let's internally rotate. So keeping the palms facing the legs, let's bring the arms up, inhale. And then exhale. Same hand position. Good, and let's play with externally rotating, internally rotating, inhale, arms up. And externally, or hands back down. And just notice what happens maybe a couple of times, just internally and externally rotating, right? So we can keep the shoulder girdle, shoulder blade and collarbone more still as we rotate. And then you can also let the shoulder blades, right? As you internally rotate, notice what happens. And as you externally rotate, right? Can they move? Do they move? Or do they feel fixed? Good, one more time. Let's externally rotate. Inhale the arms up. And slowly down, same rotation. And then internally rotate and arms up. And down. And then let's just play with a little internal rotation, arms forward, so backs of hands towards each other. And then externally rotate, palms forward. Right, just this, right, opening of front chest, front ribs, spreading from breastbone out to the front shoulder, to the upper arm, and then internally rotate, spreading away from the spine, right, exaggerating the movement. And then letting maybe the arms bend, see how that changes. Maybe take the arms further up. And just see what changes. I'm letting the head also move, because as the shoulder blades come in, what's easier for the head, and when the shoulder blades go wide, what's easier for the head. And then let's do a little asymmetry. One arm up, one arm down. Good. And then other side, other arm down, other arm up. Just kind of working the back. Good. And coming more center or neutral. And then down. Good. I'm just going to take the arms forward, and I'm going to let one arm pull back. Do a little turn. And then reach, and then the other elbow pulling back, like I'm pulling a bowstring, except I'm letting the torso turn, right? I'm letting my ribs turn. Maybe the eyes look towards the back of the room. And you can keep the arms a little more rounded, like you're holding a big ball. And just letting the ribs turn and feeling, again, the shoulder blades as the elbow bends, shoulder blade comes in towards the spine. And as you turn away from that arm reaching forward, that shoulder blade moves away from the spine. Maybe changing direction. Let's take the arms down. So when you pull, your elbow goes up and back. Notice what that changes in the spine, in the neck, in the head. Good. And then let's start to take that angle up. Right, so arms up, elbow pulls down and back. And you'll look back and down. You can also look forward. So you have that resistance of the head not moving. Good. One more each side. And coming back to center. Let's do shoulders up and back and down. Forward and up and back and down. Forward, up, back, down. All right, let's actually grab, well, let's do it on the floor, actually. Let's sit. Sit cross-legged. Good, so one hand to opposite either shin or knee. And if you need to sit on a blanket so you don't feel like you're rolling back, please do so. But rotation. Good, and once you're in, just letting the breath come in, move the ribs, right? Just feeling that separation of the ribs. Right, as the ribs expand away from the center line and the ribs expand away from each other, top to bottom. Let's come through center, just pause for a moment, and then other side. Again, let the breath move the tissues. One more. And center. First side again. Actually, let's change the cross of the legs. First rotation with the legs crossed in the opposite direction. And second side. Good, and center. Let's just do a little side bend. And side bend. Okay, nice and easy. Elbow can be off the floor, moving towards the floor. Again, take a moment to let the breath, right? So as you move the body, let the breath move the body. Notice if you hold the breath and push. You can always put a block under the elbow if you want to let the elbow land. Good, and let's come up and change the cross of the legs. Good, first side again. Again, maybe let the elbow land, whether on a blanket or a block. Good, and let's just take the arm forward. So you turn the ribs and the head towards the floor and let that arm sweep down towards the knees, away from the head, making a big circle. Let the arm come back. So head turns up, breastbone turns up, and around and over and forward and down. Just a big circle. One in the opposite direction. And let's come up and over to the other side. Again, support that elbow. If you need to, make it easy so your breath is still pretty fluid. Not a lot of effort. And then let that arm come forward, turning the ribs towards the floor, sliding the arm down towards the knees and away from the head, and then slightly back. Turning, looking up. And then bringing the arm around and overhead and forward and down, right? So you're feeling not only arm, shoulder, shoulder blade, rib movement, but you're really just exploring what's available, what movement is available to you. And then reversing that direction. Is it easy to turn the chest to the ceiling? Is it easier on one side and one shoulder? One side of the rib cage? And then coming up. Okay. All right. Let's just do, I know this is a little weird, but we're going to do this anyway. So coming to sit. Good, sitting up nice and tall. Let's actually hold the knees and look up. And then starting to tuck chin to chest. The posterior tilt in the pelvis starting to round. I'm going to round all the way down, nice and slow. You can hold your thighs if you need to. Nice and slow. And coming all the way down, and then chin to chest. Again, you can use your hands on your thighs, but rounding the shoulders up, the ribs up, and coming back up. Again, looking up. Stretching the throat, and then chin to chest and rounding down. And rounding, I guess, all the way down, head down, and then reverse that, chin to chest, shoulders, ribs, and up, looking up, and chin to chest, and rounding down. Good, head all the way down, chin to chest, rolling up. Good, pause here. Let's take one foot up. So one leg, shin, parallel to the floor, knee bent, and then the other leg up. And I'm just going to turn a little towards one side, and then turn a little towards the other side. You can let the knees move a little, just a little counter. Good, first side, second side, first side, and second side. And then pause and center, and let's straighten one leg and bend, and then straighten the other leg and bend. Straighten both legs and bend. Straighten both legs, lift, 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 and bend one more time. Straighten both legs, lift, 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 and bend. Good, let's cross ankles and shift around and come onto our bellies. Okay, so forehead on your hands. Okay, and then I'm going to bring fingertips together under my head and forearms on the floor for this one. And I'm just going to press the hands down and let the head lengthen forward, crown of the head forward. But I'm going to lift the head, the neck, the shoulders, gaze forward. Whatever that means, forward on the floor, forward to the wall, slowly lower down. And a little press into the hands and a little lift. And slowly lower down. And maybe each time you do it, just noticing what happens in your pelvis, in your lower back, upper back. Can you put a little more weight into your pubis if that's necessary? Does the right side and left side work differently? I'm noticing my dominant shoulder does something very differently than my non-dominant side. Good. And then come down, head down, pause. So next time we're going to keep the hand down, but let the elbows lift a little. So again, pubis heavy, hand pressing, but I'm really initiating from spine. So long neck, lifting head, lifting neck, shoulders, maybe come up a little higher. Again, listen to what feels right. And then slowly roll down. And then slowly roll up. And slowly down. Again, noticing the right side from hip to shoulder. And left side from hip to shoulder. Is there understanding or awareness each time you do it? Good, last one like this. And slowly lower down. Good, pause, take a breath, breathing into your lower back. Good, sliding the hands around. So hands in line with your rib cage, right? So thumbs about nipple height, somewhere around there. Should feel good. And let's come up onto fingertips. So on finger pads, on thumb pad. Good. And notice if you want to turn your fingers to face the front of the room or the side of the room, right? They have different impacts on kind of that thumb and inner shoulder relationship. And then crown of the head forward and up, pubis heavy. Again, notice the balance between using your right head, your upper back, your upper body lifting, and your hand supporting, or is your hand trying to control? But notice what you need, what balance you need. Slowly rolling up and slowly rolling down. And slowly rolling up and slowly rolling down. Good. And release. Good. Let's bend that right leg. So pubis heavy, and I'm just going to tip the foot, the right foot out to the right, and then center and across to the left, keeping that hip somewhat
somewhat pinned, not strongly, but just pinned down a little. And right and center and left. And then a little sweep, side to side. And straighten, bend that left leg. Again, pin the pelvis and take the left foot to the left. Then in line with the knee and to the right. So we're just externally rotating and internally rotating the leg with the pelvis somewhat still. Good, and then let it sweep side to side. Good. And bring that leg down, and then let's bend both knees. And again, pelvis a little more stable, pubis heavy, and feet sweep side, center, side. Good, and then let the legs sweep a little bit more, pelvis following with, pelvis can turn. Notice if the sitting bones lift a lot. Where does the lower back start overworking or feeling unsupported, if at all? Good. And then coming back to neutral, let's just cross the ankles and press the legs into each other, front to back. And notice what happens in the lower body. Does the pubis get heavy? Can the lower back get long? Does the legs engage? And then switch, other leg in front, other leg behind. Notice how that feels different. It feels totally different to me. Apparently one leg likes to pull more than it likes to push. But notice again, the whole thing. Leg, pelvis, lower back. Good, and keep that cross. Let's just bring hands under shoulders again. I'm going to push into hands and knees and lift up. And I'm just going to press back to a little, somewhat of a downward puppy, right? So my hips are in the air, my hands are forward. I'm just elongating the hands forward and the hips back. Good. And then letting the back round and come forward and back down. Good. Extend the legs. Let's take one leg up. Pubis heavy, one leg up. Maybe bend it while it's up. Extend it and bring it back down, and other leg up. Again, can the pubis stay heavy? And bend that leg. Again, notice how the body responds when you bend the leg. What happens? Does the pubis get light? Do you send the belly into the floor and down? First leg again, lift and bend. Can you keep the pubis heavy? And straighten and lower down and lift the other leg and bend and straighten and lower down. Okay, let's bend knees, cross the ankles. Again, I'm going to push up and a little back rounding. So again, if you need to turn your hands out or turn them or come up on finger pads, thumb pads, you can also do that. But I am going to round again. You can maybe walk your hands in a little bit, but I'm going to take sitting bones down and forward towards the hands. Just a little modified cobra. Feet pressing into each other. And rounding back. Or more of a kind of quasi upward dog. And then again, rounding, rounding, rounding. As you come forward, sitting bones down, pubis up towards the breastbone. Shoulders slide in and down.
eyes forward.
Good. And one more, and pick maybe the legs that are most challenging or less familiar. Sitting bones down
And forward, shoulder blades down, upper arms back. And release. Okie. All right, hands under shoulders. So again, we worked on that, rolling the thumbnail up towards the ceiling. All right, so you get that inside of the thumb or index finger side of the thumb to come down a little bit, and then the thumb side of the index finger, thumb, fingernail down a little bit. So you get that little extra pressure down in the inner hand. The whole length of the thumb, the whole length of the pointer finger, and the tissue between thumb and index finger. Let's lift the knees and push back to downward dog. Good, lifting heels and lowering heels. Good, lifting heels and lowering heels. Good, lifting hips, hands pressing down, especially thumb and index finger, but feel the length of all the fingers, hips move up and back. Heels down. Good, knees down. On. I'm just checking the time to see where we go next. Okay. All right. Okay, we're just going to come up. So downward dog one more time. Look at your thumbnails. Your index finger, fingernails. Pull that tissue down between and lift the knees and come up. Keep that focus in the thumb and index finger, the middle finger, the ring, the little finger, hands pretty active, right? This is our prep for a handstand. Strengthening the hands, the wrists, the arms, shoulders. And then walking, feet forward. Bend your knees. And slowly round up. Okay. All right, let's grab our chair. Okay, so, and our blankies. So, all right, so if you can get your legs through the back, you're going to go this way. And just do one blanket. You could even do no blanket. Joan, if you're little enough, you can get your thighs under that back, but it's tricky. Okay, so if you're going side saddle, go side saddle. And if your legs are going through the back, right? Susan, your legs are going to go this way. I'll demonstrate both. So Susan, hips off the back of the chair. I would have a blanket on the chair so that it supports your head and hands. Good, all of that work that we did of pubis now up towards the ceiling, so the lower back stays long. Good, and then Joan, your side saddle, if you want, or front to back, maybe even two blankets. In that same sense of buttocks supported and rib cage supported. Good, head and hands. Pause here. Lengthen, keep lengthening. Use your thumbs to pull the base of the skull away from the hips. Doesn't matter wherever you are. Same shape. So I am going to take one foot, right foot, and just walk it closer to the chair, to the right hip, and try to lengthen the knee away from the hip and the buttock flesh towards the back of the knee. You can even release one hand down and just reach towards the foot. Doesn't matter if you touch. Maybe you touch, maybe you don't. Maybe you press into the chair just to connect that circuit, foot to hand. And then release. Bring your hand back behind your head, bring your foot back to where it was, and let's do the other side. Walk the other foot towards the chair, maybe even under the chair. Again, but reaching from hip to knee, buttocks towards the back of the knee. This side is a little harder because there's a lot of chair in the way, but again, you can just make that connection, fingers to foot. You can even go around the chair, the outside of the chair. Good, and release. Good. Maybe look towards the floor. Letting your breastbone curl towards the floor. Maybe release the hands. You can even walk your hips higher up onto the chair and let your upper body hang off the chair a little bit, just kind of upper shoulders and neck. Keep your balance. Take hold of opposite elbow. Elongate that back body. Feel that support of the front body. Good, re-extend the arms. Maybe even reach your thumbs towards the floor. Right, remember that relationship, thumb to shoulder blades. Maybe even press the shoulder blades into the chair. Take hold of opposite elbow. Long spine, long neck, long legs. Still that reach from knees away from pelvis, buttocks towards the backs of the knees. Couple more breaths. Good, and then hands behind head, lifting your head up. Again, you can use one hand to scoot yourself up onto the chair. You can curl up or you can even slide it down onto your, this way, just slide this way. Yay. Okay. All right, blankets off. Let's sit on the chair for a moment, do just a little rotation to one side. Breathing. Side body, right side, leg, outer hip, lower back, back ribs, side ribs. The side you're turning towards and the side you're turning away from. And then other side. Long side body, long back body, long front body. And center. Okay, let's see. We didn't do a lot of prep, but I think our backs are getting stronger. Let's see how we do. But let's play with the wall, going over the back of the chair. Okay, so this one I like to use my sticky mat and a blanket, or just a sticky mat, right? Because sometimes the blanket is too much height, or it's just complicated. Complicado. All right. So I'm gonna sit on the chair. So the key is to keep this downward weight on the chair, right? So if we start to push back, the front chair legs can flip up. So heels on the front chair legs. Good. I'm gonna lean back into the chair, but I'm gonna use my hands. Hands on the chair. I'm using fingertips because there's less chair because my butt's in the way. But I am going to press down into my heels, down into my hands, and I'm just going to lift my hips away from the chair, forward and up like a bridge. Good. Maybe bring head to hands. Just pause here with head and hands. Good. Sitting bones forward and up like a bridge, heels heavy. And then just slowly start to look back towards the wall. Let your upper back curl over the chair. Good. Maybe hands to the chair. Maybe press into one heel more and the other heel more. Maybe just let the hips shift side to side just to feel. Depending on if you feel like you're the right distance from the wall, you can walk your hands either out to the side or down, again, curling over the chair. Good. You can even play with releasing the hips towards the chair. It's not a lot. But just to let the back arch or feel that fulcrum point. Good. And then let your hands slide up. You can either just pull your hips back to the chair, hands behind the head. Come up to sit. Good. So if you need to make any adjustments, if you need to be further or closer to the wall, right? Notice if you felt if it was too much arch, then slide away. And if you felt way too open, then get closer. We'll try it again. Again, maybe just a little rotation to one side. And then the other side. Checking in with your backs, right? Did you notice any vulnerability that you need to take care of? Right, maybe back up a little bit, move slower. All right, here we go. Okay, so heels on the chair legs, hands on the seat of the chair, upper back on the bar of the chair. Again, I'm just going to press heels down, hips forward and up, bridge pose, away from the chair. And then feeling the back on the chair, let the hands take the head again. You can even just hang out here with that bar, reminding that part of your back that it can bend. And then looking towards the wall, curling over the back of the chair. You can stay here or you can bring hands to the wall. And you can play with, right, as the knees bend, you can even play with your hands on the wall. And as the knees bend, you're pulling away from the wall, arcing in the upper back. Or you can straighten the legs and walk down the wall. They're both good, just different. Right? It's more just kind of playing with the access to the pose, to the shape. Hands can be wide. Notice your breath. Long through the lower back, long through the backs of the legs, long through that front hip. Find your breath. And then let's slowly come out. Hands behind head or hips to chair. Come up to sit. Oh, that feels so good. Oh. All right, let's come up to stand. And I'm just going to bring hands to the chair and do a little forward bendy thing. Good, maybe just round the back. And come towards a little upward dog shape, right? Sitting bones forward, just light, nice and easy. And then rounding to come back. Again, rounding, lifting the spine, posterior tilt in the pelvis. Keep that posterior tilt as you come towards, hips towards the chair. Good, shoulder blades come in and down, maybe the eyes forward. You take it as far as you can take it, rounding to come out, back to this downward dog shape. One more, rounding, lifting those, especially those lower ribs. You can turn your hands to the side. You can have your fingers facing the back of the chair. You can walk your feet further away from the chair and do less bend. Good. And then coming back to this Uttanasana downward dog shape. Okay, so right hand on the chair, I'm pressing into the seat of the chair. You can still have your hand turned out. Left hand to your right shin or foot or knee. Maybe even just let the hips shift a little to the right and to the left. Nice and slow, just getting that side and back body. And then left hand to the chair. Same, right hand, knee or ankle, foot, shin. And just this little slow sweep to one side, sweep to the other side. And both hands on the chair. And walking forward. And come to stand. Checking time. Okay, Jenny, make sure you rest a little bit. Let your body settle for a little bit. Susan and I are going to do one more thing, one more back bendy thing. So I'm just going to keep this on the chair because it keeps it heavy. Okay, so my feet are wide. We're just going to do a little wild thing variation. All right, so feet wide. So my right hand is on the chair. I'm just going to let my right foot turn out a little bit. Good. Again, I'm going to lift my hips and send them away from the chair, just like a bridge shape, even though the legs are weird. Good. So you can either keep the feet more parallel and stretch that arm up and maybe overhead. Good. Or you can turn and look towards the chair. Good. And come down. Let's do the other side. So I'm keeping, we'll do it twice. So I'm keeping my feet more parallel on this one. Left hand on the chair, hips away from the chair, right arm up. Maybe look up, maybe take that right arm overhead, turning up, up, up. Or looking down to the chair, using that resistance to turn more. And then coming down. Feels so good. Good, right hand on the chair. So this time I'm going to take it a little bit more sideways. So right foot out, pelvis is going to turn. So it's a little bit more of a lunge. with the knees bent. And then the hips again are gonna move away from the chair. You can even straighten both legs if you want. A little more of a side bend. And then turning up, turning that more into a back bend. Again, knees bent, legs straight. And then slowly back to the chair. Other side, left hand on the chair. My toes are turning left. Hips move up and away from the chair, left arm up. Again, knees can be bent, right? You might get more leverage with the knees bent or just a different sense of a bend or a reach. Good, you can turn your breastbone towards the ceiling. Looking under that top arm. And then slowly come down. Goodness. Whew. Okay, let's take right ankle and that left knee. Good. Just a little bob. Keeping my torso somewhat neutral. Just doing a little bob. Good, and maybe even turning towards the foot, so my breastbone towards the foot. Little rotation as I bob. Good, and then again, coming to center, and then I'm going to bob towards the knee. Sometimes I like using my hand. So there's a little support to bob into. Good, and then center. So right hand is going to slide between the two legs. So I'm on my inner left lower leg, and I'm just going to slide the hand down. And then back up. So a little rotation. And down. Looking away from, right, as the right hand goes down, I'm looking to the left. Again, should feel good. No need to push. This is real cooling down and soothing. And then left hand. Left hand is going to come to the outside of that left leg. So I'm switching hands. And I'm going to turn to the right. So as I slide down, I'll turn to the right. And as I slide up, my head turns back to center. I'm scratching my leg. Just slipping in a little hip stretch as I scratch my leg. And then let's cross the legs. And maybe even hook the foot around the other leg, a little rotation. To one side, center, and to the other side. Good, and if there's any catch, noticing, again, just noticing what you might need. So I'm going to turn to the first side. So you can either use hand or you can use elbow. Right, one hand on the chair, elbow on the knee. Again, I'm just trying to find some length, some sense of right sitting bone heavy, left sitting bone heavy, equal weight on my spine. And coming up, other side, so elbow or hand against the knee, opposite hand to the back of the chair. Equal weight on my sitting bones. Equal length along my lower spine. Good, and slowly come back to center, uncross. Just pause, notice. Good, other leg. Little, again, starting with a little bob. Nice and easy. Turning towards the foot. Good, and then turning towards the knee, and again, I like that hand under the, I also get to press into that full outer line between the outer knee and the hip, that thickening. Good, and then center. It's like praying. Okay, and then left hand on the inside of that right leg, and I'm just gonna slide down. Like I'm scratching my leg. Letting my torso turn as I slide. Just responsive, reflexive movement. And then the other hand, right hand down the outer leg. So I end up turning to the other side, to the left. Good, last one. Good, and then crossing. And maybe hooking the other foot around, doesn't really matter. Little rotation to one side. And even here, notice equal weight on sitting bones, somewhat. Good balance through the lower spine. Right, I just notice if I don't pay attention, I shift onto one side all the time. I shift onto one hip. Rotating the other direction, same thing. Good, and then again, elbow, first side again, elbow on the knee, hand on the chair, sitting bones balanced. Nice, easy breath. And then other side, other elbow to knee, hand to chair. Good, even feeling the balance in the shoulders. Do you feel rounded forward? Is your neck long? Can the shoulder blades feel like they're moving in and down just a little? And then coming back to center, uncross. Good, let's come up to stand. Good. Okay, so I'm gonna come back to the floor. We're gonna roll up and down. I'm gonna have my blanket handy, but I am gonna roll up and down. Just kind of roll up towards a shoulder stand shape. And you can even, which I like, if you can, depends on your body, but I'm pretty little, so I can hold the chair, the front chair legs. Just easy, easy, and feet on the front edge of the chair. The heels on the front edge of the chair, so as I press my feet down into the chair, the knees lift, sitting bones lift, rolling up to a little bridge shape. It's nice to have the hands on the chair just to keep the shoulders balanced. You can even take one leg up to the ceiling. Again, helps to have that reference in the shoulders. And then other foot up to the ceiling. So you have shoulders, upper arms, one foot on the chair, one leg up. And then foot to the chair. And slowly, slowly, slowly roll down. Let's do that again. Heels push into the front edge of the chair. Then the balls of the feet press down, the knees lift, sitting bones lift. Right, I'm still holding the chair. I'm almost just pulling into the chair and letting the shoulder blades Kind of pick up onto the back as the upper arms press down, a little bit of a shoulder stand feeling. And slowly, slowly roll down. Good. And then bringing the blanket in so that as I do it next time, I can slide the blanket in. So again, feels the edge of the chair, pressing the balls of the feet down, rolling up the pelvis, legs, pelvis, spine. Good. Blanket can come under the body and then slowly, slowly roll down. The legs on the chair. Ooh, chair is cold. You can put something on the chair. Chair is cold. You can put something on your belly or your legs. Good. Making any adjustments you need to make it comfortable. You can take the arms out to the side, palms up for just a moment. Let's take the arms overhead, maybe take hold of opposite elbow. And feeling the length through side body, back body, front body. And almost as the back body widens, the front body softens back. Throat, chest, belly. Right, really looking for that. And maybe changing the hold of the arms. Looking for that softening. And then when you're ready, you can bring your arms down, you can bring your hands on your body, whatever feels comfortable. Inhaling slowly through the nose. Exhale slowly through the nose. Inhale slowly through the nose. Exhale slowly through the nose. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Nice and diffuse. Slacken the jaw. Relax the throat, the back of the neck. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Keeping each time you exhale through the mouth, find a sense of space in the head, back of the throat, and in the mouth. And keep that as you inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Widen, expand from center out to the periphery. And keep that as you inhale and exhale. Two more. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth. What else can soften? Shoulders, neck, arms, hands, back, belly. Let's just take a couple breaths, 2 to 3 breaths. Inhale through the mouth, exhale through the mouth. Letting the breath relax. And even in this place of not really directing or guiding or moving the breath, see if you can just feel the softness of the breath and the breath moving almost beyond the boundaries of the body. Right, we already feel that with the exhale, that outward release, but can you feel as you inhale just this sense of softness, of lightness in your whole structure? Permeability, even through the skin, right? That we do exchange through the skin, just that awareness of breathing in through the arms and the legs and the torso. Everything. And then wiggling fingers and toes when you're ready. And if you would like to stay here, please do. And if you're ready, fingers and toes, hands and feet, arms, legs, gently rolling. And finding your seat. One hand on heart, one hand on belly. Let's finish with one Om. And letting that Om be an offering, a blessing to yourself and to the world. Inhaling. Om.